Morning, colleagues. Black History Month is a time to reflect not only on individuals who shaped history, but also on the institutions and spaces that have uplifted our communities and opened the doors when opportunities were limited. Here in Council District 9, the legacy lives on through organizations that fostered creativity, economic development, economic empowerment, and cultural pride. This morning, I'd like to start by recognizing a company you may or may not have heard of before, Shindana Toys. But before we get into it, I'd like to share a short video.
The exhibit here is part of the Black Doll Show, and that takes place every year from December to the beginning of March. The Shindana dolls are actually made by a Black company, and that was Operation Bootstraps. It came out of the 1965 riot at a time when African Americans did not see themselves. My favorite Shindana doll is Career Wanda. And Wanda was actually the first clone like Barbie doll in 1976. What I would like to see is young people to take away that they can create anything, that what they do today represents tomorrow, and that they can become doll designers and be proud of what they see.
Yes. I want to thank Billy Green, who you just saw on the screen. Billy is a dedicated community activist and a passionate collector of Black memorabilia and art. Thank you for helping to preserve the stories and history that continue to inspire our communities. Shindana Toys, with its manufacturing facility on Central Avenue at 61st Street, was founded by civil rights activists Lewis Smith and Robert Hall, at a time when Black children rarely saw themselves reflected on store shelves. As a response to the 65 Watts riots, Smith and Hall created Operation Bootstrap. Some of us remember that being a forerunner to the Brotherhood Crusade, to help address long-standing systemic inequality and neglect amongst Black residents in South LA. Shindana Toys was born out of Bootstrap and carried forward to a vision to rebuild, to ignite opportunity, and to restore pride through economic empowerment and cultural representation. I'm probably the oldest one in here that remembers the slang, the term from Operation Bootstrap. It was learn, baby, learn, right? Piggybacking on the burn, baby, burn that had been popular years before. Through dolls and educational toys, Black children were able to see themselves and honor their beauty, their culture, and their potential. Its influence extended far beyond the toy aisles, and it went to reshape industry standards and open the doors for more authentic representation. Shindana Toys created jobs, supported local designers, entrepreneurs, and invested back into the community. With industry support from Mattel, including training and resources, the company expanded its reach and provided the community-driven innovation and a path to strong national development. Perhaps most importantly, the company reminded a generation of children that their stories deserve space and that their dreams are worthy of being seen. Through the company itself, although it's now a part of history, I think its legacy certainly lives on. And today we're honored to have a special guest. Please join me in welcoming Adam Smith, the son of Lewis Smith and Marva Maxey, two of the founders of Operation Bootstrap and Shindana Toys. Adam?
Okay, thank you very much, Councilmember Price. And I would like to say we are honored that the Council District is recognizing the organization that was an institutional part of the community in that area in the late 60s and early 70s. Their presence and impact in that community reverberated throughout the entire country. Now, it was at a time when they started, when there was a large amount of civil unrest, much like we see today in our societies. And my father had a dream and a goal and a vision to rebuild and help restore that community and help that community, how should I say, recognize their value, even though their community may have been in ashes. But to understand that great things grow from ruin, or great things can develop from impoverished circumstances. So in that being said, he created the organization Operation Bootstrap to provide vocational training for members of the community so that they could go out and find jobs, not only in their community, but also throughout the city of Los Angeles. And after Bootstrap was created, along came Shindana Toys, which was another resource or a beacon for that exact same area that was devastated by the 1965 Watts riots or uprising. Bootstrap and Shindana Toys together provided opportunities for their community for employment, training, and hope. And I am very thankful. It was quite a pleasure yesterday to go by the old factory where the dolls were created. And I remember, as I said yesterday, spending time there as a child, not knowing, not really understanding or fully understanding where I was or what I was a part of, and seeing the development team, seeing the production rooms, seeing the hope that came from a facility like Shindana Toys and Operation Bootstrap. So on behalf of my family, I would just like to say thank you very, very much. Thank you.
We want to thank you and the family again for the legacy and on behalf of the community. Let's put you in the middle.
All right.
Thank you, members. Now I'd like to introduce another organization that has helped thousands of families build generational wealth, not only across LA, but nationwide, Broadway Federal Savings and Loan. Do we have the video?
Broadway Federal Bank was a black-owned bank that served the south central part of Los Angeles, all of 9th District. It was founded in 1946, and the founders were both my grandfathers. My dad's dad, H. Claude Hudson, and my mom's dad, Paul Williams, were part of a group of community-minded citizens who invested $150,000 to start this bank, and it opened its doors on January 1st, 1947. So what was happening at the moment of the founding of this bank? Blacks could get loans. There was redlining that went on that said banks wouldn't make loans in certain neighborhoods. They just happened to be black neighborhoods. A group of blacks realized that this was a problem, that people couldn't get loans, black people couldn't get loans. They formed this bank so that they could provide loans for home ownership, for businesses, and that's really how the black community in the 9th District got started. My family instilled in me a value of giving back. That's part of this bank, is to give back to the community, to be a part of the community and the growth of this community. And so banking is like the core of building wealth in any community.
Broadway Federal Savings and Loan was once the second largest black-owned bank in the United States. As we heard, it was founded in 1946 by Dr. Claude Hudson, who was a prominent American businessman at the time, and doctor, alongside Paul Williams and others. The bank was built by a circle of early founders and community leaders who had a clear mission: to provide bank services to individuals, families, and organizations who routinely were excluded from many existing financial institutions at the time. Although Broadway Federal's main branch, located on Broadway and 45th Street, was destroyed in a fire during the 1992 riots, the bank never turned its back on the community. In 1965, it began its conversion to Broadway Federal Bank, transforming from a mutual savings and loan to a stock savings bank. Originally established to provide access to home ownership in return for returning African Americans in World War II, Broadway Federal took part in a historic merger in 2021 with City First Bank, forming one of the nation's largest mission-driven banks. Focused on financing affordable housing, supporting small businesses, and increasing access to capital in historically disadvantaged neighborhoods, the bank has a clear focus. Unfortunately, Paul Williams, who you saw in the video, the grandson of the founders, was able to join us. However, we're honored to have Albert Odell Maddox, son of C. Albert Maddox, an early founder in Broadway Federal, and in fact, who served on the board of directors until 1986. Albert served on the board from 1986 to 2019. And I'd like to invite him now to just say a few words. Mr. Maddox.
Thank you, Councilman Price, and thank you, council members, for recognizing Broadway Federal Bank, Broadway Federal Savings and Loan. It truly was founded and operated as a community institution. Much of its history operated as a mutual savings bank, which means it was owned by the depositors. Chartered in 1946, the original founders were H.A. Howard, Paul R. Williams, Albert Maddox, Thomas L. Griffin, H. Claude Hudson, Norman Houston, Helen Gahagan Douglas. Each of those professionals had strong ties to the community and a history in its development. Each had a belief in the rights of all to private property and the importance of self-determination. Their mission was to provide loans for African Americans and community members as homeowners and small businesses. Those loans were widely unavailable or neglected by traditional banks. I can tell you that I witnessed Broadway from the 1950s and on as truly committed to its customers, its employees, and to its mission. Thank you.
Mr. Maddox, on behalf of a grateful community, we appreciate your commitment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Price. We've got a speaker on the queue. Once you're done taking pictures. All right, Councilmember Hutt.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Councilmember Price, for bringing in two institutions in the 9th District. I'll start with the doll manufacturing because I had a baby Nancy when I was younger, and it's exciting to see that you're still going strong and that the collection that Miss Billy has is really outstanding. I think we can see it at the William Grant Still, right? Museum. And I think folks should go and see those first black dolls. My sister had one too. She drug it around. And we were really happy to have dolls that looked like us. The features were rounder, the cheeks were cheekier, and it was fun to play with the dolls. So I love Baby Nancy. And then as for Broadway Federal Savings, you know, that was the institution you put your first money in. And we were really proud of Broadway Federal. My grandfather banked there, my mother banked there, and I banked there. So thank you so much. When Broadway Federal moved to Inglewood, it seemed a little closer depending on where you live. So thank you for bringing all of them in. And I see some friends in the audience, Alvinette, who retired from the city, Billy, who retired from the city, and Sandra? Is that you? Oh, Everest Manley, who really makes sure that people go see black films. There was a time where you would buy your ticket when a new black film was coming out, and you went to buy your ticket to go see the film, and the theater would sell you a ticket for Batman when you went to see Soul Brother #1. And so Sandra made a difference so that you made a concerted effort to buy the tickets so that those companies, those production companies would get the credit for the black films and really expanded what that looks like. So look at all the icons you brought in. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here.
I think I might have jumped the gun, Councilmember Price, so I'll cede the floor back to you.
That's okay. It was a good setup. Speaking of theater, my last honoree today is the Lincoln Theater in District 9. Come on up, gentlemen. Let me come back around the other way. Located along historic Central Avenue, the Lincoln Theater stands as one of LA's most important cultural landmarks, recognized for its local, state, and national significance. Since its opening in 1927, almost 100 years, it has served as a refuge and for creativity for working class African Americans who were often excluded from other venues during segregation in Los Angeles. Central Avenue was the heartbeat of black culture on the West Coast, and the Lincoln Theater earned the recognition as the West Coast Apollo, welcoming legends such as Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, and Etta James. The artists who graced the stage and the audiences who filled these seats helped shape American music and cultural history. In addition, the Lincoln Theater welcomed public speakers and served as a trusted gathering place where the community could come together during important cultural and civic moments. While best known for entertainment, the Lincoln Theater nurtured young talent and provided space for collective creative expression. Today, the theater remains a crown jewel of this historic corridor in CD9. And as the theater now enters a new chapter, its legacy must never be forgotten. Now I'd like to invite Van Scott, Chief of Special Projects with the Coalition for Responsible Community Development, who's here with Mark Wilson, Executive Director, and others, to join me. And CRCD are the current owners and stewards of the Lincoln Theater. And so we want to learn what's coming up. Van?
Good morning, and thank you, Councilman Price, Council President, council members, and residents of the City of Los Angeles. Thank you for including us in this Black History Month celebration. Thanks to the efforts of Councilman Price, the City of Los Angeles, the Coalition for Responsible Community Development is now the owner of the historic Lincoln Theater and the two surrounding lots. CRCD, as we are commonly known as, has 3 phases planned for this large site. One phase includes renovating the theater into a cultural and performing arts center that not only benefits the residents of CD9, but the residents of the greater Los Angeles area and the country. It will also operate as a workforce training center for youth and adults in fields of lighting, sound, videography, and technology related to live performances. Our vision for the theater involves turning it into a hub for live music, live musical and theatrical performances, excuse me, the way it was in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. During this time, all the top Black entertainers performed at the Lincoln Theater, known as the Apollo of the West, including Duke Ellington, Nat King Cole, Billie Holiday, Lionel Hampton, Count Basie, Fats Domino, B.B. King, Sammy Davis Jr., Lena Horne, Sarah Vaughan, and so many more, including Quincy Jones, who you'll hear from his son in just a moment. We are in conversations with the Quincy Jones Family Foundation in Los Angeles and Carnegie Hall in New York. With their support and expertise, we know we are building a team that will ensure the renovation success of the theater into a 21st century performing arts Center, as well as its long-term operations as a multicultural performing arts center. Another phase on this site includes turning the lot adjacent to the theater into a 60-unit affordable housing development with commercial space on the ground floor that will complement the theater. This development is expected to begin construction in late 2026. The third phase, which is across the alley from the theater and the housing development I just mentioned, is another affordable housing development that we're in the process of pulling together, which we expect to start construction in 2028. As you can imagine, these three sites will not only transform Central Avenue between 23rd and 25th Streets, but will transform the city. We welcome you to join us in this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Van. You mentioned having some conversation with the Quincy Jones family. I understand Quincy Jones III is with us. This proposed effort with the Jones family and other entities certainly has the potential to expand arts and opportunities. Discussions are also being had with the Carnegie Hall, and so we're happy to have with us today 45.
I just think about my childhood. Like, I grew up in a music house.
Right. Okay, I'm sorry. We have an exciting presentation from Terry Ross, representing the Carnegie Hall, talking about a potential collaboration, again, with the Lincoln Theater. Terry?
Thank you, and good morning. Thank you, Councilman. So on behalf of Carnegie Hall, and I've been a board member on Carnegie Hall for 4 years, and I wanted to share a brief story that came to mind today. And when I first went on to Carnegie Hall to see the facility, I had never been there before. I went there, and I was standing on the stage, and I got chills because it was a moment that reflected in me that I was going to be curating content on one of the most prestigious venues in the world. And then I got that same feeling the day that I went to the Lincoln Theater and stood on that stage. And I said to myself that you're going to be curating content from this venue as well. And I just wanted to say, Councilman Kearns, that on behalf of Robert Smith and the entire Carnegie staff, they're fully committed to helping restore and bring back this facility in the way that it's supposed to be, and the way that it was. So when you see the video, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Let's run the video. Thank you, Terry.
The way they talked about Carnegie Hall was like the main stage to get to.
Carnegie Hall has always been such a prestigious and renowned venue.
The creme de la creme of spaces.
What I've been surprised to learn about the Hall's, contribution to Black history is just the breadth and the range of participants, from Sarah Vaughan and Count Basie,
Mahalia Jackson,
Martin Luther King,
to Busta Rhymes and Jay-Z.
I looked on the wall and it was a bunch of pictures, old pictures, and just nostalgia, right? And I was like, if I could bring that back, then I know I'm doing something.
Welcome to Carnegie Hall.
What really excites me is the fact that they have a lot of other programs that people don't know about.
It's a lot of incarcerated men and women that are very talented.
I love what we're doing in the criminal justice space.
It's always the opportunity to reach back specifically to the youth.
And what Carnegie is doing is giving them opportunity to still create on their art.
What a tribute and ode to mothers that they can work with successful creators to create lullabies.
The Play USA program that gives funding for instrumental training.
This endeavor has been one that I think is long overdue, but I absolutely feel cemented that magic is going to come out of this collaboration.
Carnegie's in it for the long haul. They wanted me to create a council of individuals, tastemakers, just people that move the needle in the industry.
The group that we have assembled leading the council is phenomenal.
I had to be a part of this.
If you just look at the programming over the last 2 years, it's just unprecedented.
Sold out. Our community came out in droves, looking like money.
The hall has never felt like this. We've never had this type of energy in here. Like, this is really, really special.
There's African American billionaires, and to get up on that stage and share some stories and give knowledge, amazing.
Y'all feeling good, Carnegie Hall?
We're changing the culture at Carnegie, like 1,000%.
We are Carnegie and we are astute, but we don't forget where we came from.
Carnegie is a venue that day one opened its doors to everyone. We will continue to push the narrative that the council is for us all.
What we're doing is bigger than us individually. It's for generations that will come after us.
The collaboration with Carnegie Hall. Our communities would look much different without the institutions that we identified and acknowledged today. Shondana Toys, Broadway Federal Savings and Loan, and the Lincoln Theater. It's my sincere hope that their legacy continues to light the path for future generations to come and inspire all Angelenos to achieve the best. Thank you. Let's make Black history every day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Price. Great presentation. We have Councilmember Rodriguez on the queue.
I'll let them take their photo real quick.
Wait. Let me just also comment that the glue to this whole project has been Big Reg. So let's give Reg a shout out.
Thank you, Mr. Price. And hold on, guys, don't go walking away yet. Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge all the honorees that you brought in today for the incredible and remarkable contributions in history that you made. Not just, I have a very dear friend who was a designer for Mattel with Barbies. And so when I recognize the immense importance of making sure that young girls had that representation, something that they could identify with. So I wanted to say thank you so much for that and what you all have done to make the immense contributions that you've made. But this project with the Lincoln Theater is something just remarkable to me. As someone who had a deep original passion that if I hadn't fallen into politics, I really saw myself on the Broadway stage doing musical theater. I really appreciate the collaboration of what this means for Central Avenue, for one of the core parts of our city's history. But this collaboration is really phenomenal in so many different ways. You talked about the workforce development piece, you talk about the arts. This is a intersectional moment of all of these things happening. And of course, and with the legacy of Quincy Jones and everything that I grew up admiring my entire life, I think it was it Herb that honored him when I think he got his star, Curran, when it was Herb that did the recognition, and I was so bummed that I wasn't there for that moment because I grew up as from a kid, all the Motown history and Quincy Jones and just everybody, all of the musical contributions. This is such an important intersectional moment for our city on Central Avenue with Lincoln Theater. When you talk about Carnegie Hall, you talk about all of these pieces coming together. This presentation is so much larger than I think anyone really recognizes and appreciates right now in this moment. And I couldn't be more excited for what this is going to mean to the core of Los Angeles on Central Avenue, but of course to the entire city. Its connection from its history to what it's going to present day provide residents in the city of Los Angeles, and of course musically. Because, you know, I think about Harlem and the Apollo Theater and what that means for the resurrection and kind of revitalization of that community, what this is going to mean here. So I'm just incredibly excited and welcome you all to City Hall for this well-deserved honor and recognition for both the history and the present of what it all means to our city. So I just wanted to congratulate you, Mr. Price, on this incredible work. I know you've probably been an instrumental part, you and your team, in helping to bring this all together, but to each and every one of you for your commitment to seeing this all the way through. This is a remarkable revitalization effort and infusion of cultural significance for this part of our city. So I just wanted to thank you and congratulate you on this well-deserved recognition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Rodriguez. And I just ask all the members of this council and the folks in the gallery to please join me in giving a big round of applause to Councilmember Price. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. What Mr. Price has put in front of us today is absolutely brilliant. You know, part of what happens in the discussion about Black History Month and civil rights and the civil rights movement is we talk about Montgomery, Alabama, and what happened there was important, and we talk about Birmingham and what happened there was important, and we talk about Washington, D.C., and everything that happened there was important. But what gets left out all too often is what happened here in the city of Los Angeles for the freedom struggle, not just for Black people, for everybody. And so you have woven together a beautiful tapestry of the resistance that comes out of this city, from Broadway Federal Savings saying, if y'all don't want to bank with us, fine, we'll have our own bank. Lincoln Theater and Lincoln Motion Pictures. Lincoln Motion Pictures was one of the first independent film companies ever anywhere. And it started when people saw Birth of a Nation and what that was doing to portray Black people as savages, basically. And it became a big film in the US, got shown at the White House. Black folks here in LA said, the way we deal with that is we're gonna make our own films and we're gonna have our own theater and our own spaces. And then Shindana Toys, the same thing. You know, there was a Barbie movie, and I love that movie, but I was upset that they didn't talk about Shindana Toys because, again, it was a direct challenge to society in this country putting out one standard of beauty, and everybody had to go along with that standard of beauty, and Shindana Toys said, nope, no you don't. We can do it different. And all of that came out of the city of Los Angeles, and we get to honor it here today in the chambers of our own City Hall. So thank you so much to all the honorees, and thank you so much to Councilmember Price for this beautiful presentation.